Hello everyone, I'm Matt Mitrovic, the alternate historian. Trope Talk is back, and today we're going to be discussing another favorite trope of alternate historians, which I am calling the royal exile.
The royal exile is when a king or queen is forced to flee their home country for one of their colonies where they actively rule whatever remains of their empire. Sometimes the colonies even declare independence and install the exiled monarch as their ruler. Although it can be any country, the English-speaking world tends to use the British royal family in their alternate histories.
Popular examples include the Stuarts fleeing to North America to start a new country in Virginia after losing the English Civil War, or Queen Elizabeth II ruling the British Empire from Canada in a world where the Germans have invaded and occupied Britain during World War II. It is extremely plausible because it actually has happened.
In 1808, the ruling house of Portugal, the Braganzas, fled to Brazil after Napoleon invaded their country. From there, they ruled the entire Portuguese realm until 1821, when they returned home. Dom Pedro I, however, stayed behind and ruled Brazil briefly as regent before declaring Brazil's independence and becoming its emperor, when it looked like Portugal would revoke Brazil's autonomy. This all happened when Pedro's father, John VI, was king of Portugal, so you could probably guess what family get-togethers were like with those two.
Fast forward to World War II, and we see several European royals flee to Britain, Canada, or elsewhere. Some, like Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, led the governments and exiles and continued to rule over what parts of their empire was not occupied by the Axis powers. You're right. The British don't really have a good example from their own history of a king or queen ruling from the colonies while the main islands have been occupied. Oh sure, people have gone into exile, but that was usually to Europe. Meanwhile, they're having plans to move the government overseas in a worst-case scenario, like nuclear war, but thankfully nothing like that has ever happened. Yet.
That is probably why exiled British royals ruling from the colonies is so popular with English-speaking alternate historians. The Anglo world has no examples of their own history to draw from, so they have to use their imagination. Thus we get stories like S.M. Stirling's The Peshawar Lancers, where Queen Victoria settles in India after a meteor shower destroys most of the northern hemisphere. The trope also extends into other mediums, like the anime Code Geass, where a nation known as the Holy Britannian Empire was established when British royalists fled to North America after Napoleon invaded Britain.
I'm going to have to go with trope. The fact that we can pull from specific historical examples makes this scenario extremely plausible. Personally, I'd like to see other royal houses more instead of the British, but I can understand why Anglo-Americans use them so much. Well guys, that's all I have to say on this topic. If you like what I do, please comment, subscribe, and support me on Patreon. I'm Matt Mitrovic, the alternate historian. Bye-bye. I'm going to have to go with trope. The fact that we can pull from